Okay, how we doing? Oh, that's loud. That's got you a little bit. There we go. That seems reasonable. Probably too loud. Let me see. I'm messing around with the settings today. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday to everybody. I think it's Tuesday. I really don't care what days it is anymore. They all bleed together in the big pile of the giant lie. It's always just, every night's sleep is just a hair's breadth between idiotic videos that I have to torment myself with for your amusement. Yes, new computer is running. And I didn't bonk my head. I had my hair up in a towel up until a couple minutes ago, so I apologize. It will fade as we do the show. It's slightly damp too, because there's good volume today. And yes, welcome. Thank you for reminding me, Andy. Welcome to all the trolls who have really just given us that boost that we've needed all along. And we're well towards approaching 20K in our algorithmic hunt for YouTube supremacy. I don't even care. Anyways, we are, of course, finishing off the Trump CPAC speech, which if you don't remember from yesterday, this is what his face looked like the whole time. This business. Just you know what I mean? It's the kind of face you have on when your drunk lawyer and your dumb sons go, this'll work, and you go, maybe not. All right. The lighting's a little hot. Yeah, let's see. Maybe I can bring it down on here. Let's see. Thank you for letting me know. That's good. Should we bring this down a touch? Little better? Yeah, there we go. All right. Still, it makes me look pink because of the camera. I'll figure that part of it out. Well, I will figure it out. Yay, thank you. Oh, and I think, because we're on the new system, hopefully we can help the thing and do the thing with the thingy-do. All right, hopefully I won't kill everything right out of the gate. That always scares me, because when we start something, and it's like, okay, it's going to be great, and then it takes a big, that worries me. Let's see. We'll try. We'll do this right here. I think that's a good place for it. I'm moving stuff around, and it must be behind me. There we go. All right. Fingers crossed. I'm so tiptoeing around this. It's driving me a little bit crazy, but hopefully we'll be solid. Orange, one greener, that would be fine. Oh, thank you. Oh, if he looks green? Yeah. It's hard to even say. Hey, new subscription. There you go. So our alert box is back up. Hopefully it doesn't crash everything, because that's loud. I'm going to deafen myself with that business. That's not happening. You guys don't hear it though, right? I don't think so. Bonk. Well, hopefully. Let's see. The jar. Turn the jar off sound so it doesn't drive me crazy with the and we've got and the tip jar is back, by the way. In case you feel like, you want to help with I'm just saying. Where'd it go? Oh, that's the alert box. I'm sorry. Whoa, loudish. All right, and let's see. General settings. Yeah, that's going to be loud for me the whole time. It's adorable. Let's see. Done. There we go. I don't think you guys don't hear the sound though, do you? Do you guys hear the alert box make a noise? If you don't, I don't care. It might be, but if I go like this and then fall out of my chair, it's because of the loud thing. Okay, don't hear it. Excellent. Thanks. Okay, here we go. Let's pick up where we left off so we don't have to deal with this asshole more than we normally have to, but we can also keep to our raison d'etre, our mission, improbable, that we will get through all these things complete. Oh, thank you so much, Kelly. Yay, the chat. Now I can't see the little, I'll have to fix what that is. All right, we'll work on it. I'm still piecing it together. But there's a tip jar, fill it, and the Venmo's behind my head. It's probably not a good place for it, but we'll figure it out. I'm a little bigger, too. Oh, and the autofocus is back on. I'll work on it. Don't worry about it. Okay. Excellent. Okay. We'll get through it. Okay, here we go. Let's see what this idiot has to say.
who, by the way,
one second. I want to make sure he's not
is the most angry person in the United States today. She's gone away. You know why?
Oh, this is where we left off with Hillary's mad because the DNC didn't cheat on her behalf. That was the thing.
She said, "Why the hell didn't you do that for me in 2016?" Forget it. There are more.
Yeah, lock her up. Forget it. It's not even important. I mean, she eats baby spine juice, and she and her Muslim Brotherhood girlfriend, live in the basement of a pizza place and eat children and are linked in with you. But it's a little. It must be slightly demoralizing for the QAnon crowd, right? You know what I mean? And by the way, Hillary's not mad about that part of it.
More than her.
There's more important people than her. There's lots. I mean, you can't swing a stick at CPAC without hitting a pedivore cannibal or something.
No, she said.
Yeah, I thought she wasn't she strung up at Guantanamo or something, right?
Can you do it for me? Actually, the race was much closer. You know, the New York Times.
Yeah, because mail-in voting wasn't used as widely as it could be. But if we all had the Colorado system, you're going to see some friggin' turnout, folks.
Ask me a question. What happened in 2020 that was different from 2016?
People who warned everyone didn't have to warn everybody the next time. They saw you.
Well, I'll tell you, we did much better in 2020. We got 12 million more votes.
Mail-in voting works.
We won by a much bigger margin. 2016 was very close. But Hillary said, "Why didn't you do that for me? Why didn't you cheat for me, damn it? I could have been somebody."
That's right, she is somebody. She's one of the reasons why millions of kids have health insurance and aren't, and live to grow up to be adults right now, some of whom are sitting in this audience.
Could have been somebody. Steele source told the FBI the info was totally unserious, and they did not inform.
What? Steele source told the FBI it was totally unserious?
The court of any of this, and they kept on spying on the Trump campaign. In addition, the press is part of this crooked operation. You know that.
Yeah, you guys, you've heard this before. You know this. I don't even know why I'm reading. You know what? Let me just turn the teleprompters around. You guys can read this shit, and I'll just go golf.
Election rules were changed. Big tech censored the opposition. Political violence was legitimized and encouraged by the left.
By the January 6th? Oh, you mean, I see. Yeah.
And then Trump, the president of the United States, was banned.
Well, not really. Quite.
Social media, as we call it.
Yes, it's our nickname for it. I've been looking for a better one.
Bags. I was banned by sleazebags. I was banned by bad people.
And which is weird, because normally bad people hang out with you and you commiserate about grabbing women by their genitalia without their consent. Normally bad people. You seem confused. He's like, bad people kick me off. Normally bad people and I get along.
They're far worse. I don't say I'm perfect, but they're far worse than I am, I will tell you. They are far worse.
Well, they do have accounts on those social media sites still.
In other words, the entire system was rigged against the American people and rigged against a fair, decent, and honest election. For decades, the conservative movement acted as if all that mattered.
He's got gas again.
Were policy fights in Washington, or that all it would take to prevail was winning a small handful of Supreme Court cases. And we're disappointed in the Supreme Court. I'm disappointed. But the battle is so much bigger and so much broader than any of that. The radical left has been methodically taking over every giant centralized institution.
I think the giant of all the institutions in the world, the giant centralized ones are the worst. You know what I mean? Like, I like my institutions, scattered and smaller and... Sorry.
American life. The school systems, you see that. The universities, the bar associations. Look at what happened.
It's not paranoia. I really am surrounded by enemies at all corners.
Rudy. Hollywood, journalism, the big banks, big tech, and even the Supreme Court, where we're getting some unexpected rulings because
you weren't expecting the people you put in to follow the Constitution, even if they're just doing it so they can bide their time until they can kill Roe v. Wade, which is really what this is all about.
Justices do not want to...
Trump looks like candy corn. Well, I've never been happier. Thanks, Kinky Streets. I hate candy corn. So, yeah. I mean, it's great if you want to bite the tops off and put them on your teeth for, big buck teeth for a joke, which I did a lot as a child. But it's white trash marzipan. Sorry. I grew up in Kentucky.
Packed. And the Democrats are in a position to pack the court, and they don't want to be packed. So
nobody wants to be packed. It's not exactly true.
Look at the election. They said, we don't want to see it. We had, led by that gentleman right there from the great state of Texas, we had almost 20 states.
Like a confederacy almost. That's another word for it. Like a group of states that want to go against the actual functioning Constitution of the United States. And they have statues around the country. Some of them still up. Let's just call it a confederacy for this.
And we thought we had a case.
Hype train.
Where the standing was so good. I wanted to do it personally, but they said, sir, you're the president. You have no standing. I said, what kind of a system? Wait a minute. I'm the president. They said, the thing that has the standing are states. And if you could get one or two or three, they got almost 20.
But none of the ones that they were suing, other states don't get to sue states that voted the other way. Oh, never mind. This is just dumb.
Really strong about it. And you know what? The justices never looked at the case. They didn't look.
It's weird. It's almost as if they knew that if they looked at the case and took it seriously, at some point in the near future, the huge Democratic states with the biggest cities and the most people could overwhelm the red states and sue them for voting you in. That's just saying. So, nope. Hold on one second. Why do I always get this nonsense? There we go. Okay. Continue.
And many of the judges didn't look at the case, but we do have cases going on right now where I think you have patriot judges, and we'll see. We're going to...
Yeah, we'll see. We've got patriot judges, and we'll see.
That happens. But if the justices got their way, they won't be packed. In other words, what's happened...
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not here to kink shame anybody. All right, go ahead.
Is vicious things. Look at the Schumer statement that he said when he was on the court steps. So he's no longer protected because he's not... in Congress, if you're a guy like Adam Schiff, you can lie and lie and lie. You can't do anything. You have immunity. But once you step out of that building, Schumer said...
Yeah, it's like a vampire thing.
Things.
The justices? Yeah, he says the justices a lot.
He said a mafia-like statement to the judges. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. But they...
Well, maybe if he'd said a mafia statement. Maybe it was the like part.
Are playing the ref. Playing the ref? Even better than the great Bobby Knight in his prime. I love Bobby Knight. He came out from great state of Indiana. He came out, he endorsed me. It was over in Indiana. But Bobby Knight used to scream at the refs, and they'd say, why are you doing that? You're never going to get the call changed. No, I'm not worried about this call. But the next call they'll be thinking about. That's what's happening with our Supreme Court. That's what's happened.
Yeah, if you yell at them enough, maybe next time the Supreme Court justices you put on will violate the Constitution and install you as a dictator forever. I want what she has. And not she as a woman, Xi Jinping.
They don't want to be packed. We don't want to have...
Imagine, honest to God, imagine being Trump and looking at Putin making himself basically ruler for life and Xi Jinping making himself ruler for life and him going, what the hell? I thought in America we had all the best stuff.
4 judges. They said 13. I said the Democrats are too smart for 13. It's an unlucky number. Why would they have 13? So they'll make it... but they'll probably make it 23, 21, 19. It'll go up.
Yeah,
And,
just
if they would have looked
Thanks,
at the
Melissa.
case, we would have won that case, in my opinion. And they would have never been packed, because you would have had a beautiful veto sitting right in the Oval Office. I would have vetoed it, because it's a terrible thing. But the Democrats are...
Just so you know, a veto is a Hungarian compact car.
vicious.
Yes, he's pointing right at me when he says that, and I feel it. I feel seen.
To the Supreme Court and to Kavanaugh. He's another one.
Oh.
Yeah, Bill Barr, they screamed, we're going to impeach him, we're going to impeach him. And it changes people.
It does.
And how about
They start going, oh shit, I better stop breaking the law.
Kavanaugh? We're going to impeach him on women that admitted, ultimately, that nothing happened. They weren't even in the country, one of them. It was all a made-up scam. They should be prosecuted. They should be prosecuted. And they weren't.
He is on the Supreme Court right now, you know. None of it actually negatively affected it. All right, well.
But with Brett Kavanaugh, they're screaming, we're going to impeach him every time you vote. We're going to impeach him. And you know what? How does he get out of that? By voting for the Democrats.
Is that how it happens?
So it's a very sad thing. And he went through what no other person I have ever seen go through. That hearing was the most vicious, horrible hearing, I think, in the history of our country. I don't think
So he didn't watch the Benghazi hearings, I guess.
there's ever been anything worse than that. In New York City and state, far-left Democrats actually ran for office, promising to prosecute me, my family, and my company without knowing anything about me. I never even heard of these people. They knew nothing about me.
Well, just because you've been hiding your taxes doesn't mean they haven't seen them.
To get him. We're going to get him. We're going to get Trump. And she won. She won. A lot of people running. She won. On the basis, we're going to get him. What did he do? I don't know, but we'll find something. No, how would you like this? They're in search of a crime. To them, it did not matter.
They didn't have to look for very long. Imagine, remember the old show In Search Of? Did anybody remember that? It was about Loch Ness Monster and the like UFOs and Bigfoot and shit like that. Imagine a 5-minute episode of In Search Of. Like, today we're looking for, oh fuck, there it is. They were in search of a crime. Today on In Search Of, we look for a crime committed by the Trump, oh shit, that's a pile. How many years? 15 years of crimes. And it was here the whole time. So, we could have gotten this before the presidency? Huh.
Whether any laws had been broken. The crime was opposing the radical left Democrat Party. This is lawless and tyrannical behavior. It's a political persecution, like something
Boo-hoo.
straight out of the communist countries that you see around the world, the few that are left.
Yeah, that's true. It is hard to find stuff like this in communist countries that are like nothing like this, actually. So,
Yet
yeah.
it's happening here in America at the hands of radical left Democrats. And the Republicans, again, they just don't seem to understand
Give a shit.
at that top level what the hell is happening. They don't do it the same way. And maybe they're going to have to change our job and our mission.
Jesus Christ. Like, just wandering off into a field, like, chirping his car key, trying to make, maybe I parked in the corn, and then wandering back to the middle of a sentence on the teleprompter.
Is to resist this poison and fight for our republic with all of our heart and with all of our soul. For decades.
All of our heart or just chunks of it. Because I personally think that
To speak our minds and express the truth that is our heart. Really, that's really a big chunk of our heart. It is our heart.
Sure, why not?
It's the career politicians who sold out our country, shipped away our millions and millions of jobs. and sent our children to die in endless foreign wars have gotten away with the most flagrant corruption imaginable.
Well, beyond the fact that we've been hearing the talking points die, the fact that we're going to be out of Afghanistan, and we are, for all practical purposes, out now, but by the end of August, and that we're moving the translators and their families to Guam and then other South Asian countries temporarily while they're vetted for citizenship. And do you think he'll still be doing that same talking point about the endless wars part in 2 months? Shit, he'll be doing it in 2022 in the middle of the election.
These people,
we're still in Afghanistan, you know, it's true.
Sold out our country. As Vice President Joe Biden flew his son Hunter around the world on Air Force Two, sucking up money like a vacuum cleaner.
A vacuum cleaner. By the way, this is Rudy Giuliani. Remember when we were watching this? The Rudy Giuliani's Common Sense and then his gatherings? These are lines directly from Rudy.
Hunter's
in 2 months, he'll be back at the White House.
emails show that he collected.
Well, I think that Bedminster is technically a white building. So, but it'll be up for sale in a year.
Millions and millions of dollars from foreign nations, including Ukraine, while setting aside a cut to the big guy. Who is the big guy? That's Joe Biden. Well, that's not allowed to. And Joe Biden said they're not getting the $1 billion unless that prosecutor is out. What the hell? Could you imagine if I said that?
You did say that, asshole. The only difference was when you said it, it wasn't the will of Congress and the whole administration. Biden was the point person that delivered the news. The White House wanted that. So did the Congress. The difference is that the money allocated for weapons to Ukraine and material military support, all that stuff, the entirety of the administration was behind all that, except you decided, you know what, talk to Rudy, and if you don't bring us some dirt on Joe Biden in time for the election, you have to make the statement in September. We need it on a certain date. It's basically got to be the same day as the Hillary Clinton Comey email story drop. You know, right? You know, that window.
I said that. They impeached me and nothing happened. Can you imagine if I said they're not getting their $1 billion and voila, he was gone. He was bragging.
What? Wait, we're back to voila? I had forgotten about voila, and I have to say, where do we have that? I know we have it in here somewhere. Is it in
Michigan gave us Motang.
No, it's on one of my other. Oh, it's on the other one. Shit, I didn't transfer it over. Voila, you dipshit, and it's technically voila. It starts with a V. Voila. And voila. And Woolworth. Wubba. Oh my God.
Hunter's emails show that he collected millions and millions of dollars from foreign nations, including Ukraine, while setting aside a cut to the big guy. Who is the big guy? That's Joe Biden. Well, that's not allowed to. And Joe Biden said they're not getting the $1 billion unless.
It was a loan guarantee, by the way. Different than material support, even still. The will of the administration and Congress.
The prosecutor is out. What the hell? Could you imagine if I said that? If I said that, they impeached me and nothing happened. Can you imagine if I said they're not getting their $1 billion and voila, he was gone. He was bragging. I don't know what the hell he was thinking when did he know the tape was running when he did that? And
yes, he was in front of an audience on a panel. He was bragging.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. You know what?
Yes, no, if you go up, you have to say abracadabra or voila. if you say "Woola," the rabbit will not come out of the hat. It's just not going to.
Bill Barr is a nice man. Bill Barr and the Republicans are too nice.
Yeah, that's the problem. Too nice.
They're too nice. These are vicious, vicious people. And they will destroy our country, and they will do whatever they can to do it. Hunter said that he gave half of his salary to Pop, and that he paid vast amounts of money for Joe Biden's expenses. Now, Joe Biden has all these houses. He's always been like a senator or a congressman, right, for many years. Louis, I didn't know you.
When he was vice president, he wrote a book. He also lived in the house that they bought in, 1974. They renovated it and sold it for $1.5 million.
That kind of money that you had mansions. You have mansions. Does Louis Gohmert have mansions all over Texas? I don't think so. He's got one house, and that's enough. That's all you need, right, Louis?
Yes, you're a simple man, Louis, right? One man, one dentist,
Home to his
one tooth.
bathroom in his bedroom and uses one toothbrush, right?
Oh, shit. Because he has one tooth? It's a brush for one tooth. Yeah, if when Louis Gohmert uses it, it's a toothbrush. When the rest of us use it, it's a teeth brush. Jesus Christ. His one toothbrush is to brush his one tooth. He just... Son of a bitch. What is he doing to him?
No, but Joe's got a lot of toothbrushes.
Oh, God. Joe's got a lot of toothbrushes. That's clearly the sign of major graft. What is this? Wait a minute. Back up. I have to see that again. Hold on. Sorry.
He's always been like a senator or a congressman, right? For many years. Louis, I didn't know you made that kind of money that you had mansions. You have mansions. Does Louis Gohmert have mansions all over Texas? I don't think so. He's got one house, and that's enough. That's all you need, right, Louis? Wants to go home to his bathroom and his bedroom and uses one toothbrush, right? No, but Joe's got a lot of toothbrushes. Yet not a single member of...
You're going to jump back into the speech there? What the fuck? The horrible crap. He's calling you out, Joe. You may think you have power right now as president, but you and your multiple toothbrushes have got to be taken down. The other thing, and I'm going to check this real quick. Hold on. Louis Gohmert net worth. He probably lives in an apartment at this point, is he? Hold on. Just, this is, the Republicans, holy shit. I just looked something up and I have to show it to you. This is, fucking hell. Thank you, Raphael. All right. The Republicans elected Trump because he's a billionaire, he's a business success, and he's the kind of guy you want in charge of things instead of these career politicians who don't know how you make a living. They don't know shit, right? You need somebody who really knows. Louis, first of all, his fucking second middle name is Junior. Louis B. Junior Gohmert. His Junior. He's 419th in the House as far as wealth. He has an estimated net worth of negative $12,500. Maybe he's right about the one bathroom, one toothbrush. He's just shitting on the dude for being poor. That's him. Like, he's fucking with Louis Gohmert right now. This isn't just kind of a random, you don't need anything. You got a simple existence. This is him going, Louis Gohmert is a broke son of a bitch. That's what Trump is doing right now. He's going out of his way to shit on this sap for being broke. Look at it. And this is median net worth in his area, and this is Louis. Although I will say that his median net worth in, in Louis' area goes, as it goes down, Louis goes up. That should tell you something. But, yeah.
Treacherous, corrupt political
Treacherous?
has ever experienced anything like the deranged and demented persecution that has been directed at me, my family, and everyone associated with us, everybody. I came down the escalator with our great...
Oh, I thought this was a different story of you just, like, coming on an escalator randomly. You came down the escalator with the former First Lady that everybody loves but nobody's seen?
Future First...
I'm kidding. She's been seen in New York. Not together, but... Sorry, I missed that part. What was true?
Treacherous, corrupt political establishment has ever experienced anything like the deranged and demented persecution that has been directed at me, my family, and everyone associated with us, everybody. I came down the escalator with our great future First Lady.
Oh, the future First Lady part. Oh, yeah. Because technically at that point she was going back in time. If you go to the enchantment under the sea dance, she's eventually going to be the First Lady. So. It's true.
She was great. She had a very successful career, did really well until she met me. And so much for that career. That's all right.
Shit.
Well, she's the coolest, the most confident person. She gets it better than anybody. And she
by it, he means the concept of fuck Christmas.
You people. She loves you.
She loves the First Lady. She loves all of the people. She will be appearing on a balcony later on. You can pelt her with roses. Anyone without a rose will be shot.
When all of these witch hunts began, all because I put America first, all because of MAGA. Make America great again.
Is this like... the whining is amazing right now. All I did was that. I don't know what the heck.
And now it's also because I got more votes, 75 million, than anybody in the history of the presidency.
Yeah, unfortunately, the dude you were running against got more votes than anybody in the history of elections in the country.
And far more than Clinton, far more than Obama, and a record 12 million more than 2016. Think of it. In the history, usually they go down a little bit second term, and they win, but they go down a little bit. I was told...
Yeah, usually they win in the second term. Usually. Yeah, it's been pretty consistent, I mean, you lost. You were a one-termer. Twice impeached. But yeah, I see what you mean.
By a great pollster, really somebody great, John McLaughlin, one of the most respected. Sir, you got 63 million votes. If you get
65, you're a shoo-in. Good
64 or 65, nobody can beat you. Can't.
So all we need to do is buy 2 million votes, and you're locked. Okay, where do we buy them? Texas, Florida, Ohio, and we'll try in Arizona, but I can't. Bang for buck, you're going to have a problem or whatever. And if you lose in Arizona, the Republicans there are going to have to push back against any kind of a recount because it'll be discovered that they bought a bunch of votes for you. So thanks, John. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Listen, thank you, John, very much. I got it to 75, and I lost, in quotes. I lost. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, you can quote me. You lost.
Disgrace. And what they've done to this movement, I think they've made the movement stronger. I'll tell you, in a certain way, I think they've made it stronger.
Yeah, in a certain way, you've made it stronger because you've driven away a lot of the chaff from the wheat.
I'll never forget it.
No, you won't. You will never forget losing. By the way, there's a lot of people, like, when you run for president, it's got to be a lot. Anybody who's on the losing side of that, it's got to be a ton of stress because so many people are on, your side. And I'm, mainly people who are the challenger, who've gone through it, that never got there. It's one thing to get to president and then lose. Most of them handle the ego of not being reelected pretty well because they had 4 years as president. He actually seems to be more damaged emotionally by the fact that he wasn't reelected than other people were for not being elected at all.
On election night, we did so much better than they ever thought in their wildest imagination that they just said, the hell with it, let it go. What they did. What'd they do? Oh, you mean they just started printing ballots? I mean, they never found a single person who was like, that's I didn't vote. That's not my vote at all. Not a one. Not a one. Much less tens of thousands. But let it go. I'm also leading in the polls against Harris. Because not a lot of people think that Joe's going to be running, but you never know. It's a strange world.
I'm leading in the polls against, where? At CPAC?
And everyone else who's going to run on the radical left, whether it's on the Democrat side or I love my Republicans, but we're really kicking their ass too.
No, actually, DeSantis beat you.
I love them. But we like it because they're friends of ours, right? So it's okay. I think we can say that affectionately.
No, apparently not.
No, they're great. They're great. And
they're great. They're great. They're losers. And if they run, I will pillory them and come up with some sort of shit nickname for them. But yeah, they're great.
Hard. And you saw a lot of them this weekend. But the Democrats want me out, and they want me out as fast.
You are out. Mission accomplished. I don't know what? You are out. You are out. You're in Dallas right now. When you leave there, you are not going to the White House and you are not getting on Air Force One. You are going back to either Mar-a-Lago or Bedminster. I don't know which one.
Possible. And here I am.
Out.
I have a nice, beautiful life. And here I am on a Sunday in Texas.
Oh, so keeping the Sabbath is... So swearing on the Sabbath, shitting on people. Okay. Yes, let's all give him a standing ovation for Sunday in Texas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, 4 more years. It was a rolling 4 more years. It sounded like for a minute that they were doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, it is 4 more years until you will lose again. I did, Amy. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, I said to Matt and Mercedes,
done
this, and we've had, and by the way, you have a poll coming out. Unfortunately, I want to know what it is. They do that straw poll, right? Now, if it's bad, I say it's fake. If it's good, I say that's the most accurate poll perhaps ever done. And I know they have it. I guess it gets announced after. I want to find out. Are you going to? Oh, he won't. He won't tell me. I know, Matt. He won't tell me. Well, whatever the hell they get it.
Because you're going to be mad because you got 70%. And that's the rigged version, by the way. I want to talk about a rigged election.
I'll tell you, here's the story. If it's
It's great. This is going to be good. Sorry.
bad, it'll be front page news in the newspapers. If it's great, they won't even cover it. I hate to tell you that, Matt. And I don't want to convince him to do a bad poll, but, the straw poll. So I did this years ago, and I got these great straw polls. It was the first time I ever did it, right? I was a novice, but it was right here at CPAC. And I'm so proud of the job. I mean, look at this room. Look at outside. We have thousands of people trying to come in. I mean, our only thing is next time we'll have to get a bigger place, I guess, right? Next time. But I said to Matt,
Pay for it.
Matt, and much more importantly, I said to Mercedes, I said, give me Death Valley. Give me the worst time, the worst slot. We'll fill it up. He said, well, sir, that would be Sunday afternoon. Because most people are doing other things. I said,
Yeah, church. But don't worry. No one who believes in you or anything, by any means.
Okay, Matt, you don't
go to church. They don't go to church. Like, this is all the non-church conservatives.
to give me Friday night or Saturday night, which is easy. That's too easy. We love doing it the hard way. I said, give me any time you want on Sunday. That's good. I'll fly in. And look at this crowd we get. And look at the love in this room. Look at the love, right?
Look at the love.
No, we'll give Saturday night to Louis and to the doc. We'll give
So he wanted Friday or Saturday night, and they're like, no, Sunday afternoon. That's the...
Saturday night. We'll give Saturday night to Byron. We're going to give Saturday night to Devin. We're going to give somebody Friday night, which is almost as good. They give me Sunday, and I love Sunday. You know why? It reminds me of church. That's okay.
It reminds you of church. What? What, that you forgot to go ever? It reminds me of church. Honest to God, conservative Christians, what the fuck is that? What is that? It reminds me of church, Sundays, because it happens on a Sunday. Because, Sunday afternoon, that's church, right? When do you go? When's church? I don't go, but when's church? Holy shit.
But no, I'm honored that, it really is. I said, give me your worst time. I don't care. And he gives me the worst time. He actually did. And he just broke his record. The radical left and the failed political establishment.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm sure somebody wrote all that down, right?
Hates our movement for a simple reason, because together we took on the corrupt special interests. We faced down the open borders that you're seeing so much. How bad are these borders? They're coming out of the prisons. They're coming out of everywhere in these other countries.
Just everywhere. Preschools. They're coming out of elementary schools. I mean, these 9-year-old MS-13 gang members, it's frightening.
I think we're so stupid.
Well, I don't know where they would get that idea.
They're letting their prisoners out, floating in through the caravans, come into our country, murderers, drug dealers, human traffickers of women. It's mostly...
Yeah, of men. Yeah, if they traffic in men, I mean, that's just the labor market, I think, right?
We stood up to the absurd dictates of political correctness, and we called out the people who were getting rich, bleeding our country dry, and many of them were politicians. Against the howls and cries of the corporate interests and the Washington lobbyists, we demanded fair trade for the American workers, and we did a great job on that. We finally ended the worst trade deal in the history of our country, NAFTA. One of the worst trade deals.
It's almost identical to USMCA. It's mild modifications. You have to update trade agreements. Like, this is just goofy.
I don't want to disrespect our past, but the people that negotiated that deal were either stupid or corrupt.
Well, he was yelling both.
They said
they were also Republicans, and some of them are standing over to your left.
Could be. We withdrew from the horrible Trans-Pacific Partnership, would have destroyed your automobile business. We pulled out of the World Health...
He pulled out of TPP because he wanted to help China, because he thought he was going to get a trade deal out of it. Period.
Organization scam.
The what?
The World Health Organization I pulled out because they're like a pipe organ for China, right?
They're pulled out because they're a pipe organ for China.
So I pulled out. They called me. They want us back. So the guy's just nice guy, wants us back. Sir, we really want you back. We really want you back. I said, how much are we paying? Almost $500 million a year. How much is China paying? $39 million a year. I said, okay. So let me ask you a question. We have 325 million people, not including illegal aliens, which who the hell knows? I don't think they have any idea what we're. But we have 325.
You insisted they not be included in the census. Can we not let that sentence slide by? And without recognizing that Republicans and Trump especially did not want people to be counted in the census if they were here illegally, even by volume of a household, that kind of stuff. Just supposed to count how many people are actually in the country, whether they're legal or not, so we know how many. Okay.
Billion people. China has 1.4 billion people. They're paying 39. We're paying 500. So let me ask you a question. Would you take us back if we paid 39? Yes. I said, okay, I'm going to think about it. But when I pulled out, it was so popular, I couldn't even get back in for 39 because everybody, including Doc Ronnie, thought it was amazing that I pulled out because he understands.
I'm going to throw up. If he says pulled out one more time.
Pipe organ for China and for others, but mostly for China.
Yeah, mostly a pipe organ for China. They sit there like Terry Jones, buck naked. And now for something completely different.
So I said, so I would get back in for 39 million? Yes, sir.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, that was it. I didn't go back in even at 39. In other words, I turned it down. And now...
By the way, how many of you actually believe this negotiation storyline? How many of you actually believe that's how this went down?
To the rigged election, we're out. He's in. And he immediately says, we're going back in. He went back in for the same price that they were paying before. Now, you know what? 450 million in terms of when you're dealing with billions and trillions and all of this, it's a lot of money. This is a year. This is every year. We pay almost 500 million. They pay 39 million. Their country's much larger. But why wouldn't they say, we'll do it for 39, or in theory, less? Let us in for 10. I think they would have taken it. In fact,
it's not a fucking country club.
One of the reasons I wasn't happy,
They let us back in? Does he think this works like a golf club membership?
Started off lower, Matt. Instead of 30, I said, how about, would you do it for 9? Proportional, right? So they go back in, and nobody said, we'll go back in, but we want to come back in at 39 million or 30 million or 20 million. They said, we'll go back in, and now they're going to be paying what we've been ripped off for years. And we don't have control of it. China has total, absolute control. We have none. What do you think of that? Matt in the second row.
Matt in the second row. That's his last name, by the way.
Our acting attorney general, huh? He took a lot of abuse. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for being here up here. I just see you there. Thank you. So think.
What did that? All right.
So we have this deal, and they just go in. This is the way our country runs. It's the way our country runs. We built an aircraft carrier, and the aircraft carrier has all sorts of problems. It's the Gerald Ford. They decided to use magnets for the elevators that bring magnets. You're in the middle of the ocean, big waves, bullets being shot at your ship. You got magnets. I could take this little glass of water, drop it in the magnets. That's the end of the elevator. And then...
What? What?
They throw the plane off, and they decide to do it through electric instead of steam, right? Catapult, it's called. So they have a...
Jesus Christ. I'm learning a lot. Magnets don't work in water, and it's called a catapult when you throw an airplane off a boat.
And for 60 years, it's been steam operated. They decide to do it. Let's make it out of electric. So I go to the ship because it's been under construction for years. It was going to cost $2.5 billion. It's going to end up costing $18 billion. But the bad news is it doesn't work. They even moved the tower from the center to the back of the ship, making it much harder for pilots to land. By the way, the single hardest thing for a pilot to do is land on an aircraft carrier. Even great pilots can't do it. If they're a little bit claustrophobic, you know, that carrier looks...
Claustrophobic? Claustrophobic? First of all, McCain did that, I think. Secondly, claustrophobic? What the fuck is happening? Do you smell burnt toast with almond butter on it right now?
But when you're up there flying and moving along at rapid speeds and you're looking at this massive ocean and you have a little deck that you have to land on, it's the hardest thing to do. So they moved the thing back so it made it much tighter instead of putting it in the middle where it's a wider part of the ship, a whole thing. Another thing, what's under there? That's, sir, where they keep the ammunition. I said, wait a minute. They built the tower. I don't want to be the captain of that ship, by the way. So I said, I went to visit the ship, and I was
Jesus Christ.
interested in seeing the admiral. The admiral said, sir, Admiral so-and-so, the thing...
Okay, so yeah, this is a bullshit story. It's a lie.
The sea trials, it's not working. And I said, Admiral, honestly, I think you're a wonderful man. Very good-looking guy, actually. You're like central casting, but I want to see the catapulters. So I meet these 5 guys.
The catapulters. 5 Guys, burgers, and fries. This is an amazing story. I'm glad this came late into it. This is what everybody's been wanting, is the real inside stuff.
Great guys. They're catapulters. How long have you been doing it, Jim? Sir, 21 years. I said, let me ask you have a problem with it? Absolutely, sir, it doesn't work. Why? He said, because if it breaks, you have to go through graduate school at MIT to fix it. And with the steam, we had the same power or more, and we could fix it with a blowtorch and a hammer. And I love that steam in my face, sir. I said, but seriously, which is better? He said, the steam. I said, why did they go with electric? Because, sir, it can go back and forth automatically all day long. I said, is that good or bad? He said, unnecessary, because it takes us 1 minute and 59 seconds to put the plane on and hook it up. And by the time we do that, sir, we're all set. We have so much steam, we don't know what to do with it. So I said, so you mean they spent all of this money? They spent $900 million as of a year ago to try and fix it. Okay? $900 million. It'll never work. I told them that when I first came in. I'm very good at this stuff. I said,
Jesus Christ, this is awful.
give me a glass of water. I will put it out of commission. I'll throw it on the electric circuits. It's not going to work. And it's just, I mean, we do things so stupidly. So they're at $18 billion. And I said, did you sue the shipyard? No, sir.
Did you sue the shipyard?
With the architect, I said, you're the architect, yes. Have you ever designed a ship before? My first question, have you ever designed a ship before? I'm telling you, foreign countries are laughing at us.
This ship's been, what? This was Biden's idea. What the fuck are you talking about? They've been working on a way to make up for the shortages, the shortcomings of the steam catapult forever. Eventually, by the way, you won't have to have people push the planes out there. They'll do it magnetically as well. So they'll sit over there and they'll go rink like that. And they'll get in a position. The pilots can go whip, 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 as opposed to, well, okay, you guys move and then you get out of the way and then zoom, and then you roll out a guy and then zoom. Why is this?
Laughing at us. How stupid we are. We renegotiated the Korea trade deal and we built the greatest economy in the history of the world with a record.
Can you imagine, like, everybody in there just went, okay, we're over the fucking Gerald Ford story.
160 million people working, we were never close. And I do not want to see any negotiations of tax increases by Senate Republicans, because I see certain rhinos, they keep walking over to the White House. They're getting fleeced. I feel so badly, you know. Guys like Romney, and they walk over to the White House. The other half, the senator from Louisiana, he was over there. I don't want to name them all because a couple of them are fine. But they go over there, they're getting fleeced. They come out, we have a deal. We have a
God.
deal.
Everybody who talks to them puts their hands at their sides. Have you noticed this? At this point, by the way, there are 10 Gerald Ford class carriers. The one he's talking about is the, let's see, the vessel is scheduled to be commissioned in 2020, while further ships in the class will enter service at 5-year intervals. A total of 10 Ford class carriers are planned, with construction continuing to 2058. They will replace the USS Enterprise, which entered service in 1961 and decommissioned in 2017. Yeah, 10 of them. Let's see. The completes. USS Gerald Ford completes first full ship shock trial event. Let's see, it was designed using advanced computer modeling methods, testing and analysis to ensure the trip is hard. By the way, the reason why it's this expensive is not because the ship is that expensive, it's because they're reworking so many aspects of the ship itself. They're kind of starting from scratch. And so from the development standpoint, they're not just building on the previous thing. They go to a totally different setup. So it takes a shit ton of testing, and it's very expensive. But never mind the dumbness of this. Full ship shock trials. The aircraft carrier completes first scheduled explosive event. While underway in the Atlantic Ocean, the U.S. Navy conducts shock trials of new ship designs using live explosives to confirm that our warships can continue to meet demanding mission requirements under harsh conditions they might encounter in battle. Whoa, that's loud. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. We're firing on our own ship. Just so you know. There you go. Ba-boom. How'd you like to be on the deck right about now? There's a closer shot. Very exciting. 3, 2, 1. Woof. Yeah, that's a good one. It does very well if you miss. And by the way, when he's talking about the design, where this part is back where the ship is thicker or whatever, the ship is designed to widen at this point. It's the same width as far as the deck, all the way across. You still get you get 2 runways off of it. You get the regular short kind, and then this one, and like, okay, this is just stupid. Like, this is it. This is the breakdown. There you go. So anyways, it's going into commission. It's actually happening. Fucking hell.
For England, we have a deal. You don't want to get into that? We have a deal.
No, you don't. Please explain.
They said they had a deal. 20 minutes later, when the radical left heard that Biden agreed to something, they went crazy. And then Biden said, we don't have a deal anymore. They're getting fleeced. And what they're doing is they're saying, we'll agree to raise your taxes if you approve this radical left infrastructure deal.
How did we get from the South Korean deal to this?
The money, almost none of the money is going to real infrastructure, which is roads, bridges, etc. And I'm telling the Republican senators right now that we're not going to stand for it if you raise our taxes. We had the greatest tax decrease in the history of our country, and we're not going to have you raise it in order to say you made.
But you raised it for people. The corporations get to keep theirs, but the individual tax break that you gave them expires.
A bipartisan deal. You know, they're dying to say, Matt, that we made a bipartisan deal. You don't have to do that because you're getting fleeced. It's all Green New Deal stuff. It's nonsense, and it's going to destroy our country. And inflation's going to be a big problem. We can't let it happen. Despite the pleading and begging of the outsourcers and globalists.
Does every ramble that he goes off on his own, does it all end with "we can't let it happen, can't let it happen, can't let it happen"?
On China like no president had ever done before. Imposing massive tariffs to protect American workers and bring jobs and factories and billions of dollars back. You know that, back to our shores. We made a great deal with China.
Yeah, we could have made a great deal with all of the other South Asian countries that actually are more supportive and friendlier to the United States. But
has immeasurably helped our farmers and manufacturers, and we put the Chinese Communist Party on defense. For the first time ever in the history of our country, we never took in 10 cents. They're paying us billions. And you know, it's interesting. Biden, he wants to end the tariffs. If he does, China will take over the whole deal. Okay.
the whole deal, okay? Okay? If he does that, then the whole deal is done, okay? Would you like an espresso, the lemon twist? It's good, you should try it.
But they're finding it hard to do. He campaigned on ending tariffs, which was stupid.
One moment. Just for the record. But yeah, he campaigned on
Although
it.
maybe not so stupid, right? Who the hell? Well, you know what happened. You know what happened. But he campaigned on ending tariffs. So ridiculous. We're taking billions and billions, and we convince the world that we have
Jesus.
to watch China. You know, when I took over, we had a deficit with China of $507 billion. That's not sustainable. 507, not million. 507 million's a lot. $507 billion. But now China
Yeah, ask Walmart about that. Walmart is half of it.
is totally on the offense, making
By the way, what kind of steel is in Trump Tower?
Joe Biden and our country look weak, soft, and pathetic. We ignored the hysterics of the socialist left and withdrew from the unfair one-sided Paris Climate Accord, one of the great ripoffs.
Yeah, where everything is an optional suggestion.
Would have cost us $1 trillion. We unleashed American
Yeah, if you're dumb.
energy resources,
Also could have made us trillions of dollars.
achieved American energy independence for the first time in the history of our country.
Jesus.
And we don't need windmills in Texas and lots of other places. We don't need windmills. They ought to end that program as quickly as they can. When the plague came in from China, I dragged the slow and complacent bureaucrats from the FDA and the CDC into the Oval Office. I pushed them like they have never been pushed before. And thanks to the relentless efforts of my administration and me,
Please, please, please get a huge round of applause when you take credit for the vaccine and say everyone should get it.
we got miraculous therapeutics straight to patients with historic speed, and we produced 3 vaccines to end the pandemic in record time. Would have never happened. Would have never happened. We did it in less than 9 months. They said a minimum of 3 years, probably 5 years, and sir, it probably won't happen at all.
Yeah, science just can't do it. They're probably never, ever going to be able to come up with a vaccine for this. It's just, yeah. That part I don't get. Like, he
Didn't
needs
have
to
that.
exaggerate. The 3 years just isn't doing it for him, so he pushes it out to 5 years, and then that's not exaggerated enough. It's got to be, they're probably, I mean, science will never come up with a coronavirus vaccine.
We would be in a position like perhaps over 100 years ago, right? 1917.
No, dipshit, because we didn't have electron microscopes or the ability to synthesize a disease's genome and put it on the web so everybody could work on a vaccine for it at the same time.
Over 100
What, honest to God, what kind of coal-fired bullshit does he think we still live in?
people, I hear different numbers, but perhaps as many as 100 million people died. We beat back the failed foreign policy establishment to withdraw from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. We recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights.
By the way, this is the real, this is the red meat for that crowd.
We ended the endless wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Somalia, and other countries.
No, you didn't. You can't say you ended them and then complain that Biden's trying to get out. What?
And we brought our beautiful troops back home.
And by home, he means to Saudi Arabia to guard fuel refinery plants.
Now terrible things are happening in Afghanistan. We had everything in place to finish withdrawing responsibly, and Joe Biden is turning it into a total disaster. They don't respect him. He's leaving behind billions and billions of dollars of equipment. I told these generals, I want every nail brought back home. I want...
Yeah, that's not insane. Also, we're leaving stuff for the Afghan military to use. And it ain't the top of the line stuff.
Tanks brought back home. I want it all.
For what? To sit in the desert in rows here?
Brought back home. And instead, the Taliban...
Yeah, that's not expensive and a waste. I mean, honest to God, it would be better if you wanted to pack them all up and get them out of there, to take them out of the ocean and just drop them. Because at this point, the gear itself is not worth the return fuel.
And is now parading around with our weapons that Joe Biden allowed them to capture. It's a disgrace. But with all of that being said, we should get out. 21 years is enough.
Yeah, with all that being said, that you can't leave, we should leave.
21 years is enough. In everything we do, we refuse to bow down to the radical left, the rhinos, the political establishment, and instead we insist on standing up for America and making America great again and always putting America first. America's got to be first.
Yeah, folks, it's got to be first. You got to first America. It's first.
Every day.
I mean, unless you're storming the Capitol, in which case, obviously, that's chuck it in the back of your mind.
More people are realizing that we were right on all of the key issues, and that this is one reason why our endorsement has become, and it's really not just my endorsement, it's your endorsement, has become the most powerful weapon in politics. Last year, exact numbers, because if they weren't exact, they will come out at me, you wouldn't believe. 120 of the 122 candidates we endorsed in congressional primary elections won. So,
because you only endorsed people that were sure wins, and still you lost 2 of them?
Think of that.
Yes, solidly red districts, still you lost 2.
And the 2 that didn't, actually, they turned out to be great Trump people. They really did. They turned out to be great. But we had a great string of endorsements. We love the candidates we endorse. We're endorsing a lot of good ones right now. In the Senate primary
and a couple of ugly ones. Right.
Elections, we were undefeated, 21-0. 21-0. Can't say I'm happy about all of them, but that's okay.
I didn't want to do it. I just have my people look at their poll numbers, and then what I do is, if they're definitely going to win, then I'll say they got my endorsement. Therefore, I can claim their win as mine.
So far in the 2022 election cycle, we are already 10-0 on endorsements. And you're going to check this, and they're going to check. Oh, they'll be checking tonight. Matt, they're going to be up there tonight checking. Oh, they want to find it. It's not 10-0. It's 10-1. He lied. He's a terrible person. In the face of the Biden
Jesus Christ
administration's far-left campaign to transform our country and erase our history, we are not backing down. We will never back down.
Well, apparently, they just removed Robert E. Lee's statue. Obviously, you did. Just saying. I guess the beautiful people on both sides of that, the removal of that, kind of finally came to an agreement.
When we regain control of Congress, we will immediately regain control of our border. And it's not that easy. I watch a lot of our good congressmen get on to all we have to do is redo the Trump edict. It's not that easy.
The edict.
We negotiated with those countries, and it wasn't simple, very complex. We had it better than ever before. It's so sad to see what happened. We will hold China accountable for the damage and suffering they have caused and make them pay trillions of dollars in reparations to us and to the world.
Yeah, get right on that.
We will break up the big tech monopolies and bring back free speech. We can't let this continue. We will take back our elections, and finally,
He's gotta be winding
we will
up now.
always include a thing called voter ID. That's another thing. The Democrats.
Oh, by the way, I am for voter ID as long as everybody gets one free. And the state can't take it away from you to stop you from voting. You want to provide everybody with a citizenship card that actually has a photo on it? Go for it. But we're not going to have a poll tax that you can remove anybody's ability to, like, this. Not only does this cost you money, but you can't get, we can take it away from you at any given time. No.
The Democrats are now saying, oh, we always wanted voter ID. There was a poll, 88% of the people in the country want voter ID, so now the Democrats, again, same old story. They're saying, we want voter ID. We've always wanted voter ID. These people are sick. We will completely
These people are sick.
fund and bar critical race theory.
Yeah, we had to hit critical race theory at some point.
1776, not 1619, if you don't mind.
If you don't mind.
And if government-run schools are going to teach children to hate their
Childer?
country, we will demand school choice, and we already have been. If you listen to the media or watch the evening newscasts, our country has really gone bad. All we
It's a good country gone bad.
talk about is race. That's all they talk about, race. The whole show, race, race. We don't talk about our
Yeah, the Olympics are starting next week. I don't know if you noticed that, but there's a lot of races, actually. They've been doing time trials and stuff. Maybe you just misunderstood.
country being great anymore. We don't talk about how America can lead the world. We don't talk about stopping crime or the hundreds and hundreds of people that are being shot in Democrat-run cities and what to do about it. We
Well, obviously, one of the things you could do is stop ghost guns.
talk about ending the drugs pouring across our borders, which I had greatly reduced with our wall and so many other things that we're doing. And most important,
We're doing.
we never talk about the great future of our country. We don't
Yeah, we don't talk about the future. We don't talk about it. We don't.
talk about any of this stuff
We don't talk about any of this stuff anymore.
anymore. The Democrat-controlled media talks race, race, race for political reasons. And they always have, but
Yeah, because it's one of the easiest ways to show the contrast between the Democrats and your party.
like this. But it's hurting our country, and more than anyone else, our great minority communities. It's hurting them very badly. The Democrat obsession with race is only dragging us backward into the past, and it is bringing our country down to a point where even China and Russia are lecturing us on human rights, race, and they're doing it in a very humiliating fashion. This never happened. Never happened with
Yes, they have. They bullshitted about this, but they have no standing. Of course, they're gonna use this.
During my administration, our country was respected again. It is
Yeah. Yeah. Putin always respected him in the morning, or he promised to.
no longer respected. In conclusion, our party and our movement,
Oh, thank God.
we're all united by the same shared American values and by unyielding resolve to defend our beloved nation for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. We take great pride in our country, and we teach the truth about our history. We celebrate our rich heritage and national traditions. We honor George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and
Nathan Bedford Forrest, Robert E. Lee, David Duke.
All of our national heroes. And of course, we always respect our great American flag.
Especially when, you're like, I need something to beat this cop with. What do I got? Do I beat him with just a stick I find on the ground or one? No. I'm going to show him. I'll use our great American flag. Yeah, George Wallace.
We believe in patriotic education for our children.
So does China.
And we strongly oppose the radical indoctrination of America's youth. We are committed to defending innocent life and to proudly upholding the
Basically, he's making the case that some of the babies have it coming.
Judeo-Christian values of our nation's founding.
Yeah, I don't know if the kind of cheering kicks in right around Christian. I don't know how they feel about the Judeo part.
Embrace free thought. We stand up to political correctness, and we reject the intolerance of left-wing cancel culture. We believe in our Constitution and in law and order. We want law and order. We demand law and order. We don't want people shot and killed in our cities.
On the Capitol steps, that'd be worth a try. Maybe pipe bombs and that kind of stuff.
We respect and support the men and women of law enforcement.
Yeah, until, you try to gouge their eyes out or tase them until they have a heart attack.
They will never be
But now please go out and now talk about the FBI.
funded. We are devoted to our communities. We are loyal to our fellow citizens. And above all, we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." These are
Which God would that be? Just to clarify, do you name? Yeah. Do you know what his name is? I'm just saying, which one? Which Corinthian is he? If you had a lineup.
convictions that define our movement today and must define the Republican Party, which has truly become the party of the working man and woman. The working man, the working woman. That's what's happening. Look how many people are joining. We have a much different party than we had 5 years ago.
You have driven away a large section of your base and have hoped that trailer park populism will get you over the finish line in 2022.
Big trouble, Republicans, and look what's happening. Now, for the next 16 months, we must pour every ounce of our energy into winning a historic victory in the midterms. We will never give up our search for truth and justice for what happened in the corrupt presidential election of 2020, because without that truth, we cannot have an honest election in 2020.
Yeah, I don't even, we're going to do everything we can in the next 16 months, but honestly, if it doesn't turn out that they find anything, then why vote?
22 or 2024,
Jesus.
No matter what they want to tell you. And our country will soon stand proudly for free and strong and proper elections again. The election fraud.
Yeah, we will have one again. We will have a free and proper and fair and righteous and beautiful election again, just like the last one we actually had.
2020 is the
Do I think HR1 and SR1 will pass? Not in their current form, no.
single most requested topic for me and others to talk about. Ahead of the border, even ahead of crime. Because think of what they've done. What they've done is so sad. Look what's happened to our country in just a short number of months. Everyone here today and every conservative all across our land needs to decide right now that together we will save this country. We must decide that we will not stop, we will not rest until our American heritage of freedom, liberty, and justice is once again safe and once again secure.
Secure. Jesus Christ, this is boring. But this is rousing. Good Mussolini face right there.
We owe our country nothing less than that. Our glorious American inheritance was passed down to us by generations of American patriots who gave everything they had, their sweat, their blood.
Yeah, so that we could have a peaceful transition of power in our country and not have assholes from one side who lost the election storm the Capitol and threaten to hang, after building the gallows to do it, threaten to hang the vice president.
Even their way of lives to build America into the greatest nation in the history of the world. And we are not going to let it be taken away from us by a small group of radical left Marxist maniacs. We're not going to let it happen. We will...
No? You're not going to let like 9 YouTube channels take over the whole country?
Protect and defend our cherished American legacy and freedom for ourselves, for our children, and for every future generation.
Yeah, he said in conclusion about a month ago.
My fellow Americans,
Marxist maniac.
our movement is the greatest in
Almost
American
done.
history, and it has just begun.
It's only just begun. This is basically like just, this is like a kidnapping note that somebody cut together using words from the speeches over the summer.
With your help, your devotion,
And more importantly, your money.
your brilliance, and your drive, we will carry forward the torch of American liberty. We will lead the conservative movement and the Republican Party back to victory, and it will be a greater victory than this party has ever had.
This is going to be the kind of victory that you don't see in a long time. Taunton is a part of mine head already. He's right, you know that?
We will take back the House. We will take back the Senate. And then, after witnessing all that has gone wrong in our country in such a short period of time, with our borders, with our economy, with crime, we will take back that glorious White House.
White House.
That sits so majestically in our nation's capital.
Oh, that's where it is. Okay, just to clarify, he's not going to take back the White House on the grounds at Bedminster. I see.
Beautiful White House, that's small letters. White House, that beautiful White House.
What?
It is the most beautiful house of all. Work
What is it?
together, we will make America
I mean, it's very nice.
powerful again. We will make America wealthy again.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. This thing where he's gonna do the this is the rallying cry.
We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you.
And I don't understand the YMCA stuff. Honest to God. Yesterday, you'll recall, at the beginning of the rally, I made a joke and I played Deutschland über alles over that Lee Greenwood song that he normally plays. And it literally made my live stream seize up, like all the sensors, like it was blaring red sirens at like Facebook and YouTube and all these things, like, uh-oh, somebody's starting a live stream with Deutschland über alles. We got one! We got one! Yeah, so, hold on. This is the... Hey, clap, clap, you. Clap, 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 clap. Thank you very much. Thumb up your butt. Thank you. Bye. Nope, no thumb for you. Bye. Thank you, thank you. Clap, clap, clap. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Hand job right on my chin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. No plane for me. Double hand job right on the tie. Yeah, try to get it right on the tie clip. Bye, everybody. Just a rando hand job right across the brow. That's good. Okay, where am I going? And do I thank everybody? Thank everybody? Yeah, it's weird. Oh, wander back towards here. Do I? Oh, maybe one little photo op right here. Hey, point. Thank you. Thank you. Clap, 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 clap. Hand job right on my eyebrow. For you, especially thumb up your butt. I know you like that when you. Oh, boy, there we go. Bye. Clap, clap, clap. Yes. Da ba 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 ba. Oh, that was a long one. Bye bye. Is there an announcement afterwards, or they just play the song? Yep. Yeah.
Gentlemen, President Trump's CPAC 2021.
Everybody, welcome to Right Side Broadcasting. We just listened to President Donald Trump.
Oh, these guys are the syncs off on their video too. Maybe it was a problem that I wasn't having. You know what I mean? As far as the live streaming stuff that I was having an issue with the sound being adrift. Maybe that was an algorithm issue elsewhere in the chain. But new computer, fingers crossed, it shall work. Okay, I do have a little time left, and so I thought, obviously there's all this stuff happening in, all this stuff is happening. I gotta shut this thing right now. I gotta close that. That's not good. All this thing in here, we got Don Jr.'s back in his office. Same pile of work. That green folder has not moved, kids. There's none of that. That same, see that little curl in that piece of paper there? Same shit. Weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks we have been seeing this, right? You guys remember, you've seen this. Guys, I've shown this. So, luckily, Don Jr., I mean, this is a big one, 59 rumbles. You can't beat this video. This is killing it. Look at what's happening in Cuba right now, guys. He actually is putting guys in his descriptives. People are protesting against the communist government and holding American flags while they do. Happens a lot, by the way. It's funny that they're doing that now when Biden is taking over and not when your dad was president. It's funny. That's kind of weird. That is filed. Okay, KL Link. I trade these Cubans for some of our socialist morons. Okay, so this is, and again, I have my AirPods in. It's something we share, obviously. And I have them in because I'm listening to a clip that I'm responding to. He has them in because he's stupid, I think is the actual reasoning here. Yeah, they are protesting not getting vaccines, precisely. I have to say, the irony is palpable. Okay, let's see if he recognizes that, though. Here we go.
Communism will...
Oh, God. Hold on. This is loud. Simmer and back up because I like obviously
communism.
Guys, right out of the gate, guys.
Will always lead to misery.
Really, dude? What? Okay, first of all, he's looking up here. Secondly, there was a note over here, guys. Communism will always lead to misery. Is he just putting like giant words across the top? Oh, God.
Look no further than what's going on in Cuba right now. Now, there's a big difference between the Biden administration and reality, right? The Biden administration...
What do you... again, he's got his notes up here.
Well, there's protests because of a shortage of COVID-19 vaccines, right?
Uh-huh.
They're chanting, quote, down with the dictatorship and we want liberty. You think that has to do with the COVID-19 vaccine, or you think maybe it's a little deeper than that? I understand the...
Well, it might be that the number of people that are actually out in the streets because of the COVID vaccine the shortages have brought everybody out and they feel safer airing all of their grievances.
Democrats have been selling us for a long time that the Cuban people are thrilled with their situation.
Yeah, nobody has sold that idea. I mean, that's why Obama opened up our relations with Cuba so that hoping that would eventually lead to people, getting more freedom instead of isolating them. And your dad shut that shit down.
because they have free healthcare, doesn't seem to be working out all that well, and free education. What could they possibly be complaining about?
And by the way, the free part, I guess, all right.
This is what happens in communism. And I know. I get it.
You know, you are a communist. I know. You've been growing your dictator beard for a long time, and it's not working.
Guys, I'm the son of a billionaire from Manhattan, but I
Oh my God. Trump isn't your real dad?
understand communism because my mother escaped from it. My mother escaped from communist Czechoslovakia. When my grandparents
Czechoslovakia?
came to this country and they saw the freedoms and the liberty that we had here, they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it after living in that tyrannical regime for so long under
Well, sure they could believe it. That's why they came here.
communism. So much so that they brought me to communist Czechoslovakia as a 5-year-old, and every summer after that for 2 months, so I could see it with my own eyes. So I could experience the difference between what we have in America and what they had over there in communist.
Oh, so they had businesses over there, and they still had workers and people working for them. They just did it out of the States and kind of flew over for business reasons. So,
Czechoslovakia. I've waited in those bread lines. I've seen what that system does to good, intelligent, hardworking people and how it
and imagine what it did to you.
breaks them. We're trying to bring
Yeah, Czech. For those of you who don't know, Czechoslovakia is it's right next to Slovenia, and it's where everybody there makes all the Chex-Mex in the world.
it here. We're trying to bring it here. I'd love to see all of these Gen Z and millennial kids. I'd love to see them live in those regimes, minus their iPads and their iPhones and their $7 Starbucks. I'd like to see them survive that for a second. I would trade those Cuban protesters for most of that Portland rioting crowd any day of the week because they get it. They're waving
Which would be a dictatorship kind of a thing to do. I mean, if you're going to trade humans for humans.
American flags in Cuba. Because it's a symbol of liberty, because it's a symbol of freedom. Now,
And they're doing it now. Interesting. When Biden's president. They feel safe to do it when Biden's president. It's almost like during the Obama administration, when we normalized relationships with Cuba, those people felt like they were finally getting a shot. Then they didn't do any of that shit during your dad's time in office. And now that Biden's in office, they feel like they might get the cover they need from the U.S. government again because we had a temporary brush with a dictatorship, and they were like, oh shit, it's happening in America. We'll never get help. And now Biden is in. It's fascinating.
not because it's a symbol of white oppression. It's a symbol of white supremacy and hate. No, they're flying it because it stands for freedom, because it stands for liberty. Same thing.
And because they feel safe now that Joe Biden is president.
18 months ago, when the Hong Kong protesters were waving American flags, because that's what it actually stands for. We have to start recognizing that here.
What are you reading? What this video is 7 minutes long. It's double what he normally does. So we understand he's going to drift if he doesn't have some kind of note in front of him. Obviously, that happens, right? It runs in the family. He'll have what they call an Eric, and so he's got to have stuff up there. Is there just a TV on?
Again, the Biden administration will sell
See what I mean?
you that it's about COVID-19 vaccines, but you don't chant down with the dictatorship because of a lack of COVID vaccines. That's not what happens. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
That they're selling you this shows you how out of touch with reality
Okay.
they are. But the Democrats, the mainstream media, they've been in lockstep with communism. They've been pushing it on us for years now. They don't want to talk about how it's not really such a great system. All these journalists, well,
What are you talking? What the hell is he? Honest to God, I'm losing his script right now. Can I have his notes? What? Don, can you do me a favor next time? Next time you shoot one of these piece of shit videos, can you reverse the camera and just show over your shoulder so the rest of us can read what the fuck you're looking at, so we can kind of draw and try to figure out what you're rambling about?
we don't really know what's going on right now. Like, it's Cuba, guys. It's not Afghanistan. Get on a plane. It's literally 90 miles off the coast of Florida. You can see for yourself, but you don't want to report on what's actually going on. Right?
Yeah, they probably don't. Let's see. Let's see. Where can we even look? Let's see. I doubt anybody's got any stories about it. Let's see. Cuban. I'm gonna have to dig down pretty deep. Nobody's even covering this. It's all. There is some news, but it's all just clearly they're in support of this. Let's see. View all top stories. Live updates. Cuba cracks down on protests. Concerns grow over reports of missing detainees. Why has Cuba exploded in protests? Goes beyond the U.S. embargo and the pandemic. Cuba protesters feel emboldened despite crackdown. People in Orlando showed support for protesting the hip-hop song that's driving Cuba's unprecedented protests. Protests against Cuban regime had part of the Palmetto blocked for about an hour. Cuban protesters spill into West Tampa streets. Patria y Vida, the dissident rappers helping drive Cuba's protests. Protesters asking for the U.S. intervention in Cuba. Stop Palmetto Expressway. Okay, AOC silent as DSA appears to back Cuba's communist regime. DSA? Who's DSA? The Democrat Socialists of America. Why would she? All right. The White House finally paying attention. Cuba's protest forced Biden's hand. Biden promised to reverse the failed Trump policies on Cuba. He didn't expect to have to figure out how so quickly. Asked in March whether President Joe Biden intended to lift his predecessor's last-minute designation of Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters a Cuba policy shift is not currently among President Biden's top priorities. She gave an almost identical response a month later when pressed for reaction to Raul Castro stepping down as head of Cuba's Communist Party. 6 months in, that refrain makes one thing clear. Amid burgeoning foreign crises from Nicaragua to Afghanistan, Biden's team wasn't ready to turn its attention to Cuba. Right. This is actually occurring live. Therefore, it will require some actual strategy. But over the weekend, the communist-run nation, island nation, became an unavoidable subject. Thousands of Cubans took to the streets on Sunday to protest food and medicine shortages amid a worsening economic crisis, while calling for an end to the 62-year-old dictatorship, and while Biden voiced support for the protesters, describing the protests as a clarion call for freedom. Much of his policy towards Cuba remains a mystery because they're planning something. They're going to come out. There you go. We stand with Cuban people and their clarion call for freedom and relief from the tragic grip of the pandemic and from decades of repression and economic suffering to which they have been subjected by Cuba's authoritarian regime. The Cuban people are bravely asserting fundamental and universal rights. Those rights, including the right of peaceful protest and the right to freely determine their own future, must be respected. The United States calls on the Cuban regime to hear their people and serve their needs at this vital moment rather than enriching themselves. So yeah, American president calls for American-level freedoms in Cuba. Yeah.
Right? All these people that love communism so much are really silent. Bernie Sanders, Biden's been pretty silent.
Besides July 12th was a long time ago, so.
Half of the Obama administration's been pretty silent.
Half of the Obama administration, first of all, the Obama administration is the one who normalized relations with Cuba so that people could start traveling freely to and from Cuba and the United States, and eventually, either come here or bring some of our freedoms back with them, was the theory.
Again, they spin that it's about something else, okay? They spin that it's about something totally unrelated, or at least try to create it. They say, well, it's about COVID-19 and the lack thereof, and maybe the
people are protesting the lack of COVID-19.
Lack of basic necessities for life. Really? You think it's about COVID-19 when you're starving? You think they care all that much? Cubans down there are waving the American flags while Americans with actual liberty, with actual freedom, call it a symbol of hate. They want to burn it and spit on it.
Well, the fact that they can actually was what makes it stronger. The American flag gains its strength from the fact that we as citizens can deride it or protest it or not salute it, along with the people who do want to salute it and do support it and do recognize it as a symbol of freedom. See, that's kind of what makes it a symbol of freedom. See the difference? They would love to live in a country where they could spit on their flag if they were disenchanted with it and not go to jail.
They're chanting, Queremos libertad. We want freedom. Woke Americans are telling us that they want COVID vaccines.
Then I guess you're saying that Biden's not woke. Okay. Just for,
Is anyone that stupid? Right? The left they're really confused. Which one is it? Cuba provides free healthcare and education, so it must be wonderful. Cuba are protesting the lack of...
Dude, what are you reading again? What the fuck is... What cribbed notes are up there? And now he's looking over here. Okay, so when I'm talking to you guys, I'm looking straight into the camera right in front of me so I can discuss this. And when I look at the video that I'm addressing, it's right about here. That's my eye line. That's what's going on, okay? And then occasionally I will look over here because that's where the chat is, right? It's fairly simple. And occasionally, also, an even lesser occasion, if I'm looking for a article to bring up to show you, I do it on this monitor over here, and then I drag it across over there. That's basically my life in eye lines when I do this show. He's just doing this on his fucking phone. Yes, and yes, he's high as shit.
Of medical care right now. Which one is it, guys? You can't have it both ways. I get that you'll do whatever you can to cover for Obama and for the Biden administration, and we understand the media is the marketing arm of the Democrat Party right now, but...
Well, then why are they covering this stuff and saying that there's a lot of complexity in that as well? Because, I mean, there's a shit ton of this... Let's see. Here's another one. Look at this. U.S. considering ways to help Cuban people after protests, State Department says. Sunday's protests in Cuba were the largest the communist country has seen since the 1990s. Cuba is facing food and power shortages. Oh, I thought it was just vaccines. As it struggles, I mean, CNBC. Wait, CDNC is putting this out? Is that what they call CNBC? They have to, right? The Cuban government blames U.S. trade sanctions for the nation's troubles, while Washington says mismanagement by Havana is to blame. We are always considering options available to us that would allow us to support the Cuban people. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said. The State Department on Tuesday said the U.S. is considering an array of options to help the Cuban people after thousands of protesters filled the street in the island nation this week over frustrations with a crippled economy hit by food and power shortages. They didn't say anything about vaccines in that first thing. I don't know what kind of commie paper CNS... Isn't CNBC communist NBC? That's what the other C stands for, right? We are always considering options available to us that would allow us to support the Cuban people, to support their humanitarian needs, which are indeed profound, and they are profound because of not anything the United States has done. That's a weird sentence. But from the actions and inactions, mismanagement, and corruption of the Cuban regime. Price said that in 2020, the U.S. exported more than $175 million worth of goods to Cuba, including food and medicine. He also condemned the Cuban government's forceful attempts to silence peaceful protesters and called on Havana to release anyone detained for peaceful protests. Thanks very much for the super chat. And by the way, thanks. Thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Don't forget, I totally blew off asking you guys to do that. So memberships, all that kind of stuff. Also, let's see, this Sunday, the 18th, I will be at Flappers in Burbank, and we're going to have a special guest. Maybe a couple of special guests. Hi, guy. Sunday's rare. So don't forget, like and subscribe. Thanks. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Also, PayPal.me/HalSparks. And also, this little thing. Point your phone at that, and then you can Venmo me. $6.66 moves us 1 micrometer closer to buying 666 Fifth Avenue. That's the goal. So please help out in any way you can. If you can't afford to, don't worry about it. But thank those who do. So when somebody gives a super chat and that kind of stuff, if I see them, it's nice that I can say it, but it's nice also that they know that you appreciate it because we're viewer supported. I'm like my own one-man NPR. It's a good time. All right. Sunday's rare protest, the largest the communist country has seen since the 90s. We read that part. President Diaz-Canel Bermudez said in a national address on Sunday, let's see, we will be battling in the streets, he added, adding that the United States is in part to blame for the widespread discontent in Cuba. On Monday, he appeared alongside members of his government, blamed U.S. trade sanctions for hampering Cuba's growth. Tired of mismanagement of the Cuban economy, tired of the lack of adequate food, and of course, an adequate response to the COVID-19 epidemic. That is what we are hearing and seeing in Cuba, and that is a reflection of the Cuban people, not the United States or any outside actor. But I mean, don't let them tell you that. I mean, I'm sure Don Jr. will tell us that America is somehow to blame. Oh, by the way,
which one is?
And yes, the Flapper Show is a live show. I will be in person at the club, but we will also be live streaming it. The special guest won't be live streamed because they didn't sign up for that.
I don't think it's either, because you don't have a correlation between queremos libertad, we want liberty, and we want COVID vaccines. It doesn't
Just because you're dumb and can't read doesn't mean the rest of us have to follow suit.
work. It doesn't make sense. Okay? Twitter pushing protests across Cuba as the country faces shortage of COVID-19 vaccines and basic necessities. Oh.
Yeah, it says that. Oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I have reading comprehension skill. Oh, guys, we have to,
And, like, minor details. Basic necessities. Guess what? They've lacked those basic necessities for a long time, despite what you've been told. They've lacked that for a really long time. Maybe there's more to it. Again,
Yeah, there's also the 4 years where we were normalizing relationships with them and we were bringing more financial support to the country to help people get a taste of freedom, maybe decide that they don't want to be a communist country anymore in our neck of the woods. And your dad stopped that.
I get that I'm the son of a billionaire from Manhattan, but I've experienced
Citation needed.
the stuff with myself. Okay, so
You've experienced the stuff with yourself.
some Gen Z millennial regurgitating what they hear from a professor saying the great virtues of communism. Guys, it hasn't worked well anywhere yet. It's not going to work well here, despite that we're trying to push it here. Despite
No, we're not. No, we're fucking not. No one is pushing communism here.
that you have billion-dollar and trillion-dollar institutions saying, hey, let's normalize it. Let's make it
Wait, there's a $1 trillion communist organization? What? That's some shitty communism.
okay. Because that's exactly what's going on. And
Guys, and we can't let it happen.
that should scare all of us. Okay? The fact that the administration can't talk about what's actually going on in Cuba, that they take our freedoms for granted here, should disgust
Who's they?
all of us. Don't let the narrative
Junior needs to cut up smaller lines.
and the nonsense dictate what's really going on. You're not that stupid. We're not that stupid. You can
Well, obviously. None of us are buying this, so we're clearly not.
see it with your own eyes. You can hear what they're chanting. Okay? It's not rocket science, folks. It's nothing to do with COVID. These are people that want to be free. Okay? Our media, the Democrat Party, Joe Biden and his administration.
What the fuck did your dad do for 4 years? About Cuba? Where was the movement to free the Cuban people during the Trump years? I mean, let me see. Hold on. Trump on Cuba. Let's just say that. Trump says Biden must stand up to Cuba and mocks Obama. This is from the Daily Mail, so we'll see what he says. Trump says Biden... Hold on, let me move this over. Trump says Biden must stand up to Cuba and mocks Obama for watching baseball with Castro while the regime... Hold on, shut this. Imprisoned, beat, and killed Cuban people as the White House dodges question of whether COVID sparked huge protests. And that's, Daily Mail is saying they don't want to answer whether they're only doing it because of COVID. Former President Donald Trump pressed Joe Biden to stand up to the Cuban government in a statement sent out Monday. He mocked the president for attending a baseball game with Raul Castro while he imprisoned, beat, and killed the Cuban people. Don't forget that Biden and the Democrats campaigned on reversing my very tough stance on Cuba and won, interestingly enough. During Obama's tenure, the Democrat tried to open relations with Cuba, a move that Trump reversed. Biden pledged during the 2020 campaign that he would revert to the Obama-era Cuban policy, but it hasn't acted on that pledge yet. Obviously, things are in flux. The White House dodged questions on Monday after a State Department official suggested Cuban protests were directly tied to COVID-19 concerns. Republicans hammered that the interpretation with hammered that interpretation with Senator Marco Rubio, saying the protests were inspired by 62 years of socialism, lies, tyranny, and misery. Yeah, but they've always been inspired by that, all the people who would come out. But the reason they're hitting the streets now and why it's hit a groundswell might be because of the fact that it might be because they don't have vaccines, and the ones they do are the shitty Russian Sputnik ones, and they don't want to take them. In a statement, Trump pointed out that big demonstrations breaking out in Cuba and Miami in protest of the communist Cuban government. Although today there are 0 protesters in Cuba, you know what that means. I guess that they rounded them up and killed them. Don't forget that Biden and the Democrats campaign on reversing my very tough stance on Cuba. Remember that Obama attended baseball games with Castros while they imprisoned, beat, and killed the Cuban people. Trump said he stood with the Cuban people 100% and urged Biden to act. Joe Biden must stand up to the communist regime, or history will remember. The Cuban people deserve freedom and human rights. They are not afraid. Oh, that's the thing. Big demonstrations breaking out in Cuba and Miami in protest. I noticed because it's Florida. They are not afraid. And then he includes a picture of them having a meeting as they try to normalize conversations. By the way, do we want... Hold on. I just want to, if I may, case anybody thinks that, normalizing relationships with communist regimes, for example, is an awful thing to do. They went for a walk. They exchanged lovely letters. They fell in love. After you, huh? Was that good or what? Here we are, Ming. Hello. This is the two of us, you and me. Special friends till the end. You're my buddy, and we're such friends. Oh, yeah. All right, just to clarify, in case anybody...
They got to stop playing cover for the communists and support the Cuban people and their wishes to be free. How?
Yeah, we do. That's why Biden was trying to, the Obama-Biden administration was trying to normalize relations, and that's why we're going back to that.
Why is that so hard? Why is that so hard?
Why is that so hard? Well, I don't know why it's hard, but your dad obviously thought it was too hard and didn't do shit.
I mean, I guess it's because you guys want control. I guess it's because the Democrats want control.
You're reading that? That thought has to be written down as a note?
Remember, they're waving an American flag because it's a symbol of freedom and liberty. Don't tell that to Colin Kaepernick. Obviously, he'll be down there trying to explain to the Cuban people why they should really embrace communism as he's getting, tens of millions of dollars from Nike to not even play football. They have free education. They have free healthcare. What are they complaining about, folks?
How did Colin Kaepernick get pulled into this? Because of flag stuff?
COVID-19 vaccine, or the lack thereof. Stop. Just stop. Watch what's going on. Don't let the clowns dictate. Call out the truth and make sure other people see this.
Call out the truth. Make sure other people say, share this video, because if you don't, we're only going to have 59 fucking rumbles on this thing.
Because again, the Cuban people, like us, are not in a fair fight. Okay? We're up against trillion-dollar institutions that are for the narrative on the other side. That are
You mean reality?
pushing as the marketing arm of the...
How do you get trillions of dollars operating on fake facts and fantasy? Yeah, because Fox never made that money.
Democrat Party, which seems to embrace and love communism a lot these days.
Based on what?
Okay?
Because of what? Infrastructure?
The system has failed with communism. Don't bring it here.
Nobody's bringing Cuban style. The closest thing we've had to a Cuban style dictatorship is your fucking dad.
Because some Marxist professor tells you to. Don't
Okay, all right.
just regurgitate it. Live it, experience it for yourself, and maybe you'll see. But that's not likely to happen. It's much easier to sit on your iPhone and drink a Starbucks and complain about how
How do you use your phone if you're sitting on it?
America sucks. It doesn't suck. It's the greatest country in the world, and that's why they're waving the flag, whether it's in Cuba or in Hong Kong. Take note, because they probably know a lot more than you do.
Yes, they know a lot more than you. Things that can disturb your sleep patterns. That would do it. This picture right here. Here's the real reason Trump always wins. Wait a minute. Do we dare? We got a couple minutes. SBN news clips. What the hell? Oh, and almost the same amount of rumbles as Don Jr. So maybe that's how their algorithm works on there. I'm excited. Oh my gosh. SBN news clips. This is why Trump always wins. When did they post this? Before he lost? Nope, this is February after he lost multiple times. All right.
There was a great revival in the Hebrides.
It happens. And if you've never been to the Hebrides, it's right near the Geflunkens, down in the Fjorn Valley of the Fudishis.
In the early 1900s.
It's great so far. Video's titled, "Here's the real reason why Trump always wins." I'm so excited. Why did no one show up behind you?
Began to moved up to the pleading fort, into the 40s.
The pleading fort? Jesus Christ, what kind of Minecraft bullshit is this?
Maybe we could say it topped out in the early 50s.
We could say that. Go ahead.
Two old women. One was 84 years old and one was 82 years old.
Yeah, but you couldn't tell them apart. I mean, they looked pretty close, honestly. The 84-year-old, if I saw her at a distance and you squint, you're thinking 81.
Was blind, and one was humped over so badly with spinal stenosis, just arched.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever had spinal stenosis. It's brutal. And it kicks in whenever you hear piano music played with two fingers.
Over, but they had.
Ow! I have spinal stenosis.
Passion for revival. They wanted God to work.
They wanted God to work in their place. Like, I don't feel like going into work. God, can you please seat these people and make sure that their reservations are...
This is what happened. They couldn't even get out to the church to pray. They couldn't even get out to the church to worship.
It's almost like they couldn't worship or pray without a building.
Their house became a place to meet. People came in. They got so passionate about revival coming to their Isle, the Isle of Lewis.
Yeah, and Louis Farrakhan.
They got so passionate about it. They confronted the preacher and wanted to know if he was thoroughly right with God.
How dare they ask him as women?
And they prayed and prayed and prayed. And they'd seen the Lord, they said, with the church filled up and God blessing, a great overflow.
Unlike the church you're in where there's lots of empty seats?
And the fire of God struck that tiny little obscure place off the coast of Scotland. And when it happened, there was a young teenage boy that got saved in it.
Donald John Trump. He was there. He was the greatest baseball player that had ever been there. He was at a military academy. They were over there competing on the bowling team. And he was so good, he finished up early.
His name was Donald, and the preacher became so dependent upon Donald and so close to Donald, he would ask him to lead in public prayers and help him with the meetings, and he did.
Ah, okay. The kid was named Donald. All right, the Isle of Ludes.
Oh, how God worked. People began to hear about it, and the revival fire spread. It spread. And God blessed in a...
Like syphilis.
In a great way. Those two old women, the people don't want in their church anymore.
What? Those two old women, the kind that people don't want in their church anymore? Kind of fucked up Christians are you hanging out with? Ew. Look at those old ladies. They smell like talcum powder and Ben Gay. This is embarrassing. I don't want them in our church. Excuse me, Mr. Preacher Person. Can you stop this right now? Yeah, piano guy, shush, okay? Can we get these old ladies out of here? One of them has hard candies, and she's making the most awful lip-smacking noise with her face. And the other one says she's 84. I call bullshit. And she's got spinal stephastonoly, which is like, it's like when your spine turns into a cannoli.
From that same island, there was a young girl who was a cousin to Donald Smith.
Oh, Donald Smith. Oh, this is why Donald Smith always wins. Oh, no, maybe not. Donald Smith. He was still over there incognito. I don't want anybody to know. I'm going to church with these old bitches. It's embarrassing. I only go to the top-notch church. Donald Smith is my name. Where's the chick?
Who immigrated to America.
I don't want... Excuse me, preacher person. Tell the string section to cut it out. Can we get these old ladies out of here? I don't... She was right.
Her name was Mary Ann Smith McLeod.
Mary Ann Smith McLeod.
She came to America in 1936. She met a man named Fred. And they were married. They fell in love. They were married. God blessed in a great way. And those old women were her aunts. And they came out of that fiery revival. That fiery revival. They really experienced revival. And they sent a Bible, a copy of the Word of God that had been used in a special way in that revival.
A what? In a special way?
To Mary Ann.
They opened a brothel. They opened a modeling agency so that...
She started having children.
Donald Smith was your uncle? Rick, well, I apologize for his name being used in vain.
I think it was 1937 she had her first child. They named him after his father, Fred. Then she had her second child, named after herself, Mary Ann. Then she had her third child, Elizabeth. Then she had her fourth child. And she was so impacted by this teenage boy God had used in that revival of the Hebrides.
And she was a big fan of ducks at the time.
She named him Donald. And she gave him that Bible, that Hebrides Revival Bible.
Because they tried everything else to get him to act right. And it didn't work, actually. So, please tell me he still has it.
He was born in 1946. He's now the 45th President of the United States. And that revival Bible is in the Oval Office. I'm saying to you...
Well, then why didn't he bring it with him when he went to the church and hold it up? When somebody's like, is that your Bible? He's like, it's a Bible.
I don't know how, why. I don't know how it all comes together. But I believe God.
Jesus Christ. I mean, you're crying about this? Fucking hell.
God is putting some things together to give us just a window. If he could find some open people.
Open people? Oh, you mean, yeah. Like E. Jean Carroll. That kind of open?
Who know what the wind is for.
I do know what the wind is for. I've studied the wind. It's so that you can kill birds and give people cancer. So.
Can this be the time the wind is open? Providentially, God has prepared the moment, and we will become the people of prayer, pleading with God. This is a plea. Will thou not revive us again? Will you be a part of that? Will you?
When the fuck was this put out? This is February 13th, 2021. And there's 2 more minutes of this thing. Dr. Clarence Sexton. Dirty names. Video excerpt from Revive Us Again at the 2018 Capitol Connection. Used with permission. Yikes. So, I'm sorry. So Trump always wins because his mother named him after a kid that she went to church with when she was in Scotland. And Fred went, I don't care. I've already got a Fred. That's super weird. I'm creeped out. Just saying. Holy hell. I like, we went a little long tonight, but I couldn't not click on that. Right? That dude, I was not expecting him to break down like that at the end. And this was in 2018 over Trump. You think that guy, I think Clarence is going through a crisis of faith right now? Man. His dad was German now. Yeah, his dad was, but I just did the accent because of the mom. Yeah. Do Hal's family next? Yeah, do my story. My Bible's not special, though. I mean, I've got my big Masonic one I've shown you guys, but my King James Bible that I have is just an old-fashioned black, gold-edged one that we got at our church that has, when I was baptized written in it, and because I was, just a regular Christian church, kind of run-of-the-mill Christian church, relatively non-denominational, never really made a case about it. You had to choose. You had to actually, it was a willful act to be baptized. You're not baptized as a baby. So, I wrote it in there. And then the preacher signed it. So, I'm still confused why he had that Bible from his family and he didn't bring that one to the church. How easy would that have been? Did he forget? I'll need an evil beard for the next vignette. I do. It's true. I need to, add something where I can tack it on. I have that mustache. This guy, I suppose I could, if I tried, I could, attach it under here. Oh, it's stuck. Sorry. If I could put it under here,
And the Lord did look upon Jehovah and Jesua and Jordan and Jehoshaphat and Joellaby, and said unto them, You shall carry my message forward into the sheeps of the field, and leaving upon them a gift from your own loins, you shall find your way back to the mountaintop, wherein you will give the best cuts of the lamb, and leave it upon the altar, and go back down the hill, and hang out for a little while. And if you hear the sound of a fire, and perhaps someone cooking, do not enter into this sacred place. Do not Jesapha and Jehoshaphat and Uelican. You shall not step upon the altar when I'm eating the fat from the lambs. I mean, when God is eating the fat from the lambs. Also, next time, maybe some fries? God wants fries, not me. Just saying. Anyways. Shoo. Do COVID face. I can't right now. It'll collapse. My whole system will die. I don't have it set up to do that. Yeah, he's not the Messiah, Hal. He's a very naughty boy. The 13th apostle. Yeah. This is me at the Last Supper. So I understand that technically speaking, none of this happens unless you are betrayed. Well, whoever does the betraying is a stronger dude than me. I don't know that I could do it, but we need somebody here that isn't, that believes deeper than everybody else, that will turn you over to the Romans. And I couldn't do it. It would break my heart. I know Peter and all the other guys, they like Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Judas obviously, loves and cares for you more than anybody. But I don't know. That's asking a lot. And he'd have to pretend that he was doing it on purpose. He'd have to make the Romans think it was a deal he did on purpose. So he'd have to go make a deal with them, and then they'd have to give him 30 pieces of silver or some shit. I don't know. It just seems like, can you pass the bread? Thanks very much. Is it wrong to dunk your body in your blood? I don't want to be rude. I just know what the rules. This is my first time eating body and blood. So let's just say that Judas does. Are we gonna? Someone? Do we have a whiteboard? I need to work this out. So if Judas,
speaking hypothetically, I don't know that you're the one to do it. I just think you're the guy who loves him the most, and it's clear to all of us that if anyone has the spine to go through with this and help us carry out the prophecy so that Jesus can actually bring about the prophecy that he's supposed to do, the rest of these nudniks are too scared shitless to pull it off. But you might be the dude. Anyways, he'd have to go to the Romans, strike a deal, get 30 pieces of silver. I mean, I don't know if I could live with myself after doing something like that, even if it was part of the prophecy, just watching you go through that. It must have been torture. So, it must be torture. But, I mean, if you got to do it, you got to do it. So, you know. Do we draw straws? Did Judas just leave? He did. He just left. Shit. Just saying. Ow! I want to be a trap for the Lakers. They need a good power forward. Well, this is Albert Einstein's forehead. I want it in a raffle. All right, I'm going to let you guys go after a little play about the Last Supper. Yeah. Is that Howie Mandel? It totally is. I'm an atheist. Can I join your church, Hal? Yes. Well, no, technically you can't. Because in the Great Simulation, I'm actually praying to the beings that run the sim, not to some disembodied, theoretical God. It's an actual being. And that's just one of the ways you can communicate from inside the sim to those outside the sim if you need something. And it's got to be in line with the ultimate, plan or lesson that you're going through. If it's too far off, it won't happen. But if it's within the realm of that, they can actually grant some of it if you just ask. It's sort of like, it's like in Tron when you go to the place and hold your disc up. It's kind of like that. But atheists, unfortunately for you guys, you're just bots. You're NPCs in the game. So you don't actually ever leave. When you die, you don't stop. You actually cycle into another level, and you're not aware. I just want you to know. And mint jelly, could there be mint jelly in it? Yeah. So anyways, take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Venmo helps. It really, really does. Food. And I will see some of you on Sunday, and then I'll see the rest of you tomorrow. And everybody who's a patron, of course, any of the live shows I've got coming up, you get to come as a guest for free. And bring a guest with you. That's a lovely thing. So patreon.com/HalSparks. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.
Pfizer dose